So I asked you guys over on all my social media platforms what questions you have about autism and autistic people and everything. And I am doing this while I am very small. And when I one day get a little bigger, I might do this again and answer the new questions that I got. It's kind of cold in here, so I got myself a little warm. And let's start. How is autism different from a personality disorder? So the main thing that differs between those two is that autism is there when you are born and has probably some genetic reasons, and there also may be some things involved during your development in the womb of your mother and things like that. But it is there since you are born. And a personality disorder is developing while you are growing up. So that's the main difference between those two. There are factors of different personality disorders involved in autism. Like there can be some like OCD type things, and like I was misdiagnosed with schizotypal personality disorder, which is very similar to Asperger's, or now called just autism spectrum disorder. Autism is not just like a mental illness. It has some effects on your bowel and other things. So that is important. That's an important part too. Is it treatable with drugs? No, there is no cure, if that was the question. I do take medicine, and there is medicine out there that has different effects. Like for me, I take medicine that is calming for me because I tend to get very scared. And minor differences like a new semester in school and stuff like that, they tend to overwhelm me, and different things like loud noises and stuff. And when I'm overwhelmed, I tend to get scared, and I tend to get scared from overwhelmment and stressed and everything. And with medication that is calming, I just feel better and I'm working better. I do tend to reduce the medication though after med school, and maybe like searching for a dog that is trained for autists, because there are autism dogs out there that kind of serve for many reasons, like keeping your distance, like they stand between you and other people, so you have your distance, and they have a calming effect. Like when I'm around dogs, I can really feel that calming effect that they have on me. They are like my protectors then, and I want to switch to more like stuff like that, because although medication is very great, especially when you combine it with therapy, I do not want to use them for too long, just because you are kind of dependent on them being there and you need to pay something for them, and it's just something that I want to switch if I have the chance to. Next question. Is the diagnosis only for your peace of mind, or does it have any consequence on your medical treatments in your future or any government support eligibility? So it's not just a mental disease, like I mentioned earlier. Like you can have joint pain, you can have like your whole gastric system is kind of a little like, how to say that, like I have problems with gastric acid, and I tend to have pain a lot in that area and stuff like that. Although pain can be psychological, it can also be something wrong in your bowel that makes you have a psychological problem. So like you can be scared, and then you can have like a stomach ache, or you can have a stomach issue, and then you get scared from that. Like those two systems are very connected. Yeah, but anyway, there are a lot of things like you react different to medication. Like some kind of pain drug doesn't work on me, and on the opposite side, some pills have like double the effect, and yeah, I'm weird. Yeah, government support. I can ask for that, but it's a very exhausting process. I do need to ask for it when I want a guide dog. Guide dog, it's only for blind. Assistance dog. But I won't do it unless I really need it, because it's just you need to prove everything, and they are going to make sure that everything is right, and just very exhausting. But it makes a difference. Medical treatments, yeah, drugs work differently, but doctors don't really know what and why and how. So it's just a matter of you telling them what you know, and them kind of knowing that something could happen. And a matter of getting that information out to the world, because a lot of doctors don't care about this information, and then you are the one suffering from that, basically. How many % of the population is on the spectrum? There are different numbers on that. I read 1 in 100 people is on the spectrum. My psychologist said to me 1 in 36 people. And earlier on in the 1990s, they thought 1 in 100,000 people. So it's getting, because the diagnosis criteria get better, and we know better how the spectrum actually is built and what's going on, we can diagnose more easily. And a lot of people that weren't diagnosed and just went under the radar are now detected, basically. Why should people have more awareness on the subject when most cases pass as normal people? Because they pass as normal people, like on the surface. Like I can act, especially if I know you and know information about you, I can act like a totally normal person because I know how I should act for that. Especially if I know you, like I need to train that ability. And that ability is called masking. And it's very exhausting. So I do get a lot of anxiety, and things get a lot rougher if I have to do that. And the more I have to do it, the rougher it gets, obviously. And they you can't treat them like an anxiety patient. Like I was treated for anxiety disorder for a long time, and the treatment just didn't help me. And that's because there are different reasons for my anxiety than for normal people with an anxiety disorder. And I still kind of went my way and passed as a normal person, but I was struggling a lot under the surface, and I don't wish anyone to feel as horrible as I felt. So even if people act like they are normal and happy and everything, there can be a lot going on, and those people need help. Why should people have more awareness? Exactly. For example, that medical thing. Like people, if doctors don't know that, then you are the one suffering. Obviously, I told you that. Then there's just, I think it needs more awareness about being neurologically different, because when I go into a room, like as it is for any other disease or difference, a blind person, for example, you need to know how to interact with them. And I love hearing from disabled people, because they can really share information with you how you can better help them. And I think listening to disabled people is pretty important in general for any disease, for any disability. I said 100 times now, sorry. For example, something that I learned is deaf people need to look you into your face so they can see your mouth, because then they can lip read. And when you're looking away while talking, they basically don't know what you are saying. And that's an important information that you need to help those people. Like, you can survive without it, like, why should you care? But if you want to include other people and if you want to help them, then it's important information. Everybody I know today has anxiety and stress and depression and a lot of problems that affect their day-to-day lives. Why is it so important to differentiate the difficulty that comes from that and the difficulty that arises from living with autism? Of course, it's important to help you when you have stress or treat your anxiety disorder. But as I said, they are different and they need different help. And autism comes with a lot of different things. Like, basically, it's a lot about processing in your brain, and a lot of other things are also like the bowel thing and stuff like that that's happening because the same mutation is responsible for things going different in your brain and things going different in your bowel. And it's just important to differentiate between those two, because the way you help someone with anxiety is so different from the way you help someone with an autism disorder. A person with anxiety has maybe a panic attack, and I think it's important to know what a panic attack is and to help people with a panic attack. But a meltdown may present similar but has different effects. Like, it comes from like so much things going on that that person needs a calm space and a calm area. And there are, depending on how much you struggle with those things and how much the autism spectrum disorder affects you, you need different like helps in your workspace. Like, for example, I couldn't work in a space with 5 other people because they are loud, they are making so many different noises, they are talking to each other. I need to get to know them, the group thing that I talked about earlier on. I need to know all the information so I don't accidentally come off as weird and I don't come off wrong in any other way. It's just so much stress. Like, I've been there as an intern and I couldn't do it. Like, my bowel system went completely crazy. I couldn't eat anymore because I had so many pains and I suffered a lot. Like, I ended up in the hospital. And it doesn't work. And it was hard for me to learn that it isn't my fault. Like, I wasn't not trying hard enough. It's the way my brain is wired, how I am, and I need accommodations to be able to work, because I can do a lot in this world and I can help a lot and I do know a lot. Like, for example, I have a high IQ and I know it's just numbers and I don't really care about that, but I just want to tell you that I can be helpful for the society, but I need some things that need to be different, and I'm not lazy and I don't want like a special treatment because I want to be special or something. Like, it's really important to me, and people need to know about that, and people need to know why, because otherwise they will think that I just get special treatment, like the people that say that is a service animal just because they want to take their animal everywhere. Like, you need to know the difference, and you need to know that I have different problems and that they affect me differently, because an anxiety patient needs to confront with their fears. Like, when it has a fear or when it Like when a person has a fear of crowds, then what you do is you slowly you slowly help that person get into more and more people, and you confront it with more and more people, and that person will see that it's not as dangerous as they thought, and they will start to learn to be able to be in crowds. But for autism, like that fear of crowds, that inability to be in a lot of people, is not for the same reason. I'm maybe scared because I had some different incidents that made me scared, but it's not going to go away with confrontation. And some people might think like, I was scared and now this autistic person is scared and I was treated with confronting, and just believe me, it works, but it won't work, and it's important to know that difference. If you think you are having a shitty time because of a modern day life and financial stress and existential crisis, why should one try and get a diagnosis to see if it's autism instead? Because it's not having a shitty day and having it because of modern day life. Like modern day life can make your life shitty and you can get depression from that, and I don't want to play that down in any way. But as I said earlier, it has something to do with developmental things, and you are born with it. And if you think, like I made a video about what is autism, if you think that that is you, then please go and search for a diagnosis. But if you are just having a shitty day, then wait a few days and see if it's still shitty. And you might like see and get help from a therapist. Because you probably have some depressive episodes or anxiety problems, or maybe something else is going on. Like there are a lot of diseases out there, and if it's for a longer period than just a shitty day, a shitty few days, then go and get help. I really want to emphasize that if you feel bad, then go and search for help. Like everyone deserves help. But you need to differentiate between having a shitty day and this, because I have bad days too, and those are especially hard for me with having that general disability. But I learned ways to help myself when having shitty days. And that is especially harder for me with having a disability. Like on sensible days, I'm way more sensible, and earlier I was just told like, don't be so sensitive, and now I know I can't not be so sensitive, so I don't beat myself up anymore for being so sensitive. I know that's who I am, and I know that the right way is not to confront myself with that situation that is making me so uncomfortable. I know that I need rest and I need to recover. And that's basically why it's important to know what autism is and why I want to raise awareness. And of course, I also want to raise awareness for if you out there think you might be autistic, because getting help is important, and I want to be a resource out there for you guys. So I think that were all of the questions. Like one was, what are autistic meltdowns like? And I told you about that in the video where I talked about what is autism. So I will link that in the end card or in the up there. I think it's up there. So those were all the questions that I got. Thank you for submitting them. And yeah, as you know, I will make one if I will ever get bigger, more questions that arise. And yeah, thank you for being there. I hope you had a wonderful day. You have a wonderful day or evening or whatever. Bye!